Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Chrissy. Just make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up and hit the notification bell. And I'm going to be talking about why so many people, why 4.5 million Americans quit their jobs in November, so about 2 months ago during 2021. And a lot of the Americans did voluntarily leave their jobs, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and that this had pushed the quit rates to about 3%, matching the high from September of 2021, when a lot of people were quitting their jobs because of COVID and the return to office work and stuff like that. And workers, a lot of employees here in the U.S. / the states, are likely to quit their jobs in the hospitality industry, aka restaurants, hotels, retail, which does present the farthest highest quit rate at approximately 6.1% in November, as well as many people in healthcare due to having for healthcare reason, the healthcare system here in the U.S. The reason is because they kind of recently the CDC here in the States had changed the quarantine time from 10 days to 5 days, and how a lot of healthcare places are pushing the increase of getting the shots and the booster shot, along with how they are at capacity or way past capacity for ICU and the standard normal healthcare, like car accidents and everything, and that a lot of healthcare workers are being burnt out, being pushed to other job industries because they originally went into a lot of people, nurses went to healthcare to help people, and they're getting pushed to go to other careers, and that then for the numbers in transportation, warehouse, and utilities are also increasing here in the U.S. And that Nick Barker, who's the director of research at the Indeed Hiring Lab, in an emailed comment, he had stated that workers are continuing to quit their jobs at historic rate because of the low wage sectors directly impacted by the pandemic continue to be the source of much elevated quitting, just because of how the baby boomers are still working in these industries, and how there's really not much wage increase, promotions, and that how even though here in the U.S. inflation's about 6.9, almost 7%, wage increase has only gone up 3%, and federally for the past now 13 years, federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour, even though some states are, here in Colorado it's about $12.52 an hour, but in Denver County it's $15 an hour, I think, and that a lot of states in the South do have their minimum wage the same as federal for both tipped and non-tipped, and that it's really sad just because a lot of us are being fucked. Yeah, because I'm in college and everything, it's hard to find a job for me. Currently where I work, it's seasonal, and I hope to keep it, to work around my college schedule and be understanding that I am pursuing an education to improve my wages, and that I'll post this article in the description box below, but the biggest question for 2022 is whether is it gonna persist, just because the highest quit rates is a system of the tight labor market where workers can quickly find new and potentially better jobs, wage wise, environment, management, and the November data released today doesn't yet factor of the arrival of the Omicron variant from South Africa on the U.S. shores, which just pushed the infection rate higher. Many workers are, including myself, are at risk of contracting the virus at their workplaces, just because the customers and the mask mandate, vaccination rates, and if people do have health issues, if their family has reasons why they can't get the vaccine, immunocompromised, and that the case in point is that the UCLA Labor Center did report today that nearly a quarter of the fast food workers in the LA area contracted COVID over the past 18 months. Less than half of them have been notified by their employers that they have been potentially exposed to the virus, just because it's completely optional, and a lot of because I've noticed it on Reddit and stuff for a lot of places that a lot of employers and managers don't really tell us until after the fact, oh hey, so and so is out because they tested positive COVID and you worked with them, so there's a potentially for exposure. So you can't really quarantine until you produce a positive test, but then even then it's hard for us to like go to the hospital or our primary caregivers to get a test without it costing an arm and a leg, and how employers require us to prove that we did test positive for it, and that they would, and the CDC is shortening down the quarantine time is so that they can keep the workforce going, even though people do have immunocompromised due to health reasons, surgeries, or anything else. And it's really annoying. And that including like the latest on discharge, the number of total separations was 6.3 million in November, and that a lot of hotels and restaurants did register the biggest increase in separation while also logging the biggest decline in opening jobs, the data shows, just because if they are like laying off their employees, they just want to make sure that they can bring them back once a lot of restrictions come out, are lifted, to determine what state you live in, and to make sure like they don't have to keep dealing with like hiring new people they say for a certain time then leave. And in the US had 10.6 million jobs filled in November, a slight decline compared to over 11 million jobs openings in October, and that the available US jobs did peak in July of 2021 at 11 million, and that positions in both the finance and insurance as well as like federal government positions did increase in November of 2021, and that hires were also a little changed at 6.7, and that this paints a positive picture of the labor market, just because there's like a lot of people trying to get back in the workforce but very little job openings, or employers are so picky that like when you do go in for an interview, like you can meet all the qualifications with one manager and they want to hire you, but then another manager you can totally like tank and everything. So like for me, this coffee shop, they hired me back in September and everything, so I was able to leave this one fast food place, but they ended up just firing me because I could see the comment being taken the wrong way, the way I phrased it, but I know for a fact I was like not meaning it that way. And so like you could be good in like a virtual interview or over the phone interview or an interview in person, but be fucked in a lot of ways because of managers having like weird expectations. Sorry. And that Heidi, the chief economics at the Economic Policy Institution, did tweet on Tuesday that people who are quitting are taking other jobs but not leaving the workforce, so they're switching job positions, and that on net the labor market is gaining a ton of jobs every month. So like people are switching from like one job field to another, or just switching to a job that does offer better benefits and pay. But honestly, I want to know what you guys say and comment below. Thank you so much for watching.